So, hello guys, and welcome back to the channel Guide to Glory. This is the first episode of the podcast Talk with Achievers, and today, along with us, we have Miss Preya Rana. So, Preya Didi, please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Preya Rana. I'm a medical student. I don't know what else to tell about myself, but I think I've been looking for an elevator pitch for who I am, what I do, for a long time, and I haven't really found anything perfect. So, in simple words, I'm a medical student. I blog, I podcast. I love a lot of things in life, and I love fashion, I love food, I love fitness. I love like I love the things that make life amazing. I'm a multi-passionate, which you kind of got from the part where I said I love a lot of things. And if you can connect with me, you would know that it's really tough to actually stick with one thing when you like so many. And when you're in that process, which happened to me, you kind of go into that whole cycle of thinking, and not really implementing. And that's kind of what my inspiration is with everything that I do. I really want to help you ditch your own, let's say, excuses and really just do the things that you want to do. So that's kind of the whole thing.
And also, guys, she is very good at academics, and which is one of the main reasons she is here in our podcast. And she was also the city topper in NEET UG 2018. So, as I had already told in my previous introductory videos, that I am going to bring you those people who manage their studies along with doing other co-curricular activities and do well in both of them. So, starting with the first things first and the most important one, how do you manage your studies and your academics along with all these co-curricular activities?
Uh, I think the most important thing that the one thing that I find has helped me all throughout, because as far as I remember, I've never been that person who is able to stay at a desk for 12 hours studying or reading and not doing all the stuff that is there. Like, I love movies, so I've always, for as long as I remember, I've loved movies, I've loved series, so I've never wanted to compromise on that. So I think the first thing that has always helped me is paying attention in the classes wherever I am, which includes college classes, even though they may not all be amazing, but just really paying attention and concentrating where I am. Because I think if somebody like कोई कुछ भी एक से ज़्यादा बार बोल भी देता है ना, so it kind of stays with you if you've paid attention both of the times that the thing has been said, if that makes any sense, right? So it's better to pay attention in the classes or in the programs that you have enrolled in, rather than saying I'm just going to write everything down and then go back home and revise it. Like, the best thing, the one thing that I think a lot of people miss out on, that I know that I do, is that I have to pay attention as far as possible. Some classes it's not possible to pay attention, so I get it. But in a lot of them, wherever it is possible, pay attention in class. That would be the first thing. I think another very important thing would be, whatever is done, just revising it as soon as possible. And I'm not even talking about a whole in-depth review. I'm just saying, looking through the things, just like skimming through what has happened. Because then what happens is, the things that you've learned, the things that you've read, they kind of start getting imprinted, and dhire by these small bits and pieces of revision. So that, I think.
Yes. And I will not going to ask you how do you make your timetable and schedule, because that you explained very well in your podcast. And guys, the link of the podcast and the website will be there in description, so not to worry. But when do you take breaks, and what should be the duration of the breaks? Because I have seen myself that I get carried away in breaks whenever I take breaks. uh, there is a famous technique called the Pomodoro technique, when they say study little and take little breaks. But if I talk about myself, when I have tried the same technique, what I find is I study for the limited amount of time, let's say 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever. But then breaks get extended for more than 5 minutes, 15 minutes. And so it ultimately leads to less efficacy.
Yeah, I agree. I've myself tried to use the Pomodoro technique. I've like I love productivity hacks. I think I've tried almost everything that is out there for all of these things, and honestly, same with me. It doesn't work because when they say take a 5 minute break after studying for what is it, a 25 minute stretch, I think.
Yeah, what? Yes,
Yeah.
25.
So then what happens in those 5 minutes is I'm like, I don't know what to do because 5 minutes is too less for most of the things and a lot to just keep staring at the wall doing nothing, right? That's not going to actually give any refreshment to your brain. I mean, it hasn't worked for me, and it's definitely a really good technique for the people it works for. But if you're struggling with it, I did, and Yash, you obviously did. So I think the best thing to be done in those cases is take up a slot of time that actually works for you. Like 25 minutes and 5 minutes makes sense scientifically because obviously this technique is really popular. But what happens is that 5 minutes is not enough for me. It always gets extended, in which case I try to do more of a, I want to say 1 hour, 15 minutes. So like 1 hour of studying and then 15 minutes of a break. So then if that's 15 minutes, I kind of know what I can do in those 15 minutes.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Maybe you maybe in your breaks you want to watch like maybe a short YouTube video or something. Like a lot of people enjoy that. I myself like watching those 20-minute ke episodes wali series ke kuch
Definitely.
episodes. The only problem that happens whenever you try to do these things is कि वो एक एपिसोड नहीं रहता है, वो एक वीडियो नहीं रहता है, वो ज्यादा ही हो जाता है.
Exactly.
So yeah, so when you're taking a break, I think the best thing to do is to watch something you've already watched. If you are someone who needs to watch stuff, like repeat देखो. If I watch something new ना तो वो control नहीं रहेगा. But comparatively, I know I've watched Friends. I know every single dialogue. फिर भी मैं देखूंगी तो I'll feel fresh. And ऐसा नहीं होगा कि एक और. You get the point, right? So try to watch, at least if you really want to watch stuff, watch things that you've already watched. So just kind of watch. I mean, repeat the episodes of the videos that you've already gone through.
Yes.
Another thing with it is as far as possible, like कुछ मत देखो, उससे अच्छा walk लेके आओ, किसी से बात करके आओ, but put a timer.
Definitely.
Like legit put a timer, not in your head. नहीं मैंने देखा कांटा इधर है, इधर आएगा तब मैं जाऊंगा, नहीं. Like genuinely put a timer on your phone with rings. Like when it rings, it kind of gives a signal कि नहीं, this is it, now I have to go. So even though you might extend your break, you will be aware कि okay, 5 minutes हो गए, now I'm extending my break too much, I have to get back, right? So try to keep a timer, something that physically reminds you of when your break is done and when you need to get back. Oh, another thing which I just thought about, which again is amazing. So if none of this works for you, I don't know if you would have heard of the Mel Robbins 5-second rule. Mel Robbins talks about a 5-second rule, which is basically that whenever you know in your head that you need to do something, but you know that you are going to procrastinate on it or not do it, so at that moment, just stop thinking and zor se, like, say it out loud, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when that happens, think of it like a rocket launch. So kuch bhi ho, 1 pe utna hi utna hai. So let's say you've taken a break and you're talking to, I go to my mom and I talk to her because I love talking to her. So I just go there. But then what happens is we end up talking for hours, like for an hour or so, instead of those 15 minutes. So then I put the timer, and on the top of the timer, whenever that timer rings and I'm like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 1 pe kuch bhi ho jaye, wherever I'm sitting, I'll just start moving. So when you physically start moving, or physically start, like you launch yourself out of that place, you're more likely to just start. Because I think starting har cheez mein is the toughest part. Whether
Definitely.
it be a new, whether it be a new venture, whether it be, even studying, like every single time you sit to study, that starting part ka inertia is the worst. Like
Uh,
it's tough. So yeah, you can do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I think three things. The first one is, if you really want to watch something, first of all, take longer breaks. Don't take a 5 minute break. That doesn't work for you. You take times that work for you. And nothing universal, no one size fits all. That is the first thing. Another thing is, in your break, if you really want to watch something, watch stuff that you've already watched. So repeat. The third thing is this: put a timer. Like put a physical timer which rings in your phone. Okay, ring bajni chahiye. And point number 4 is, kuch bhi ho, even if none of this works for you, try Mel Robbins 5 second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch yourself out of that place and into study.
Definitely. फिर रॉकेट बन जाना है, उड़ना है.
Yes.
So coming to the next one now, tell us more about your website. Like, what was your journey of the making of the website, and what all challenges did you face?
Uh, first of all, the first challenge is me myself, because that is the same story with all of us. All of our challenges are our own resistance. So I think when COVID lockdown hit, up until then, so many things going on, college going on, taking up so much time, and not in a bad way, in a great way. Like enjoying with friends, doing all of the things outside, which doesn't give you much time to think. But when COVID lockdown hit, I think I personally, as a second year medical student, because I think the senior students, they had duties, they worked, the residents, they were working so hard all throughout the pandemic, and they're still working so hard. But for a second year medical student, our colleges had stopped. We didn't have duty. We really didn't have anything to do. So we would sit at home, and I think the one thing that actually got me into medicine was taken away from me. Like for me, I came to medicine for patients, and the patients were taken away from me. There were no patients to actually go talk to, wards mein jao, examine karo, nothing. So everything, I think all of us went through that phase of what are we doing with our lives, and so did I. So at that point of time, I really thought that I wanted to start a blog, because I thought I'd be good at it. I was like, I love so many things, and like all the lifestyle stuff. I love that. So I think I should start a blog. This was in 2020. I used to read articles about it. I used to Google it. I used to read all the articles. I used to research everything: how to start a website, how to start a blog, how to choose what to write a blog about, all of the things. I kept on reading. I never took any step. Not one single actual tangible step did I take in those 6 months or 7. I don't even know how long, but I think 6, 7 months of actually, I just kept thinking about it. I was enjoying thinking about it. Oh, aisa hoga. Oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can. I wasn't really doing anything.
Exactly.
That happens with a lot of us. So I think what happened at the time is New Year aaya, and I love goal setting. So I sat down with one of the goal setting things, journals, and I actually thought about what I had done in this past year. And I had grown as a person, because all of us changed as people in the lockdown. But more importantly, I hadn't taken one single step towards the one thing that I knew I should do. And I knew I should have done it at that time, because I had nothing else better to do. Of course, I had to study. But like I said, I can't sit at a desk for 12 hours and study. I've never been that person. And so I wasn't going to do that. So I might as well have started this thing. But I didn't. So I realized this is not just me. I talked to some people. I talked to my friends. I talked to people in my family, anyone I used to talk to. And I realized this is a pattern. Like we all do this to ourselves. We want to do something really bad. And like, no, I mean, we really, really want to do something. Like, ye cheez
That's
to
right.
I want to do. I want to achieve this thing in life. Anything. but we don't even start. Like, we don't even take the first step because we get in our own way. So I'm like, here's what I'm going to do now. I can write, but I speak a lot. I talk a lot. I'm a very talkative person. You ask one thing from me, you will get five. So I
It's
love
good.
speaking. And I thought that was, yeah, and I thought that was a strength which I could utilize. So I said, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to one up myself. I'm now going to do a blog. I'm going to not only do a blog, but I'm going to do a podcast. So I'm going to speak, because speaking and showing up on video like you are right now, like showing up on video, showing up on audio is a lot tougher than showing up in writing, because it requires more confidence and you'll have more inertia before you actually do it. So yeah, I said, I'm going to do this year. And I decided it. I put in dates. I put in everything that I wanted to do. And after 2020, which gave a lot of time for reading, working on myself, voila, the whole situation, which I don't want to sound cliche, but you have to do that, because if you don't really work on yourself and your beliefs, you're never going to be able to start. So once I did that in 2021, I said, this is happening. I still delayed it a lot, and I think about maybe June, July was when I was actually done with the website. And I started. There were a lot of things like tech stuff. I wouldn't say I'm the most tech savvy person that exists at all. I am very impatient with technology. If the Wi-Fi doesn't work, I get mad at it. Like I literally, I'm like, no, you're not supposed to mess with me. You were made for me, not the other way around. Like, I get really impatient with the technology. So that was one thing. I have always been a people pleaser. I'm obviously recovering from it, but I've had this huge fear of judgment from a long time. I think when we talked, like probably in the lockdown years, I told you that, right? That I
Yes.
have this thing. I used to have this fear of judgment. I'm not saying I'm completely done with it, but it's still there. Like, what will that person think, or what will this person think? It shouldn't really matter. I should do what I want to do. And that's kind of how the whole concept of being unapologetically you came forward, because I'm learning. I'm not done. So I wanted to take everybody on this journey with me, and I wanted to help. There are some sources and some women who I have followed for a long time on social media, on their own podcasts, on their their website, their things, and they have really helped me come out of it a lot of, like, so they've inspired me a lot, and I think I want to make that impact. I just want to make a little impact on even one person like those people made on me. So that's kind of how the whole situation had come, the whole thing came into existence, and I think that was the struggles. But the
Yeah.
main
So
struggle is starting. The main struggle is me telling myself that I shouldn't start because it's useless.
yes.
So
And the kind of bahana we give to ourselves to that we will do it after, now we can do because XYZ is there currently in our life. So,
yes.
and whatever challenges you said that are faced by most of us. So I'm sure me and the people watching are already learning a lot and will be hoping to continue pursue their so-called passions, which they have curbed inside them because of the called of study. I have to study kind of stuff. So we are talking a lot about podcasts. So let's talk more about it. So can you give us some tips about improving our vocabulary skills and oratory skills while talking in public, or maybe like kind of this podcast or something like that?
Okay. The first thing, and I think the most important thing that you need if you want to do any form of public speaking or oratory, uh, is, I think, confidence, which is easier said than cultivate. I know that. You go on the stage and you're going to be anxious. No matter how many times you've spoken on the stage, some kind of a sympathetic nervous system response is going to come. Like,
Yeah.
I got. But I think the most important thing to cultivate is confidence. Or confidence na kuch kiye bina nahi aayega. Which means, in order for that to happen, I would say if you really want to do better at public speaking, I think go for more competitions. Like there are a lot of debates that happen if debate is your thing. There are a lot of elocutions or stuff like that happen if that's your thing. If you're not as much a formal speaker, which as you can hear from me, I'm not, so you can try actually answering in class. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Because it's very easy to tell ourselves you know an answer. The teacher is asking you, you know it, but you're like impression बिगड़ जाएगी ना जवाब देंगे.
हाँ, मतलब डर भी लगता है सब क्या बोलेंगे.
सब क्या बोलेंगे.
हाँ.
But वो भी start करो, because what will happen is when you actually speak in front of even 50 people, your confidence somehow or the other gets raised, and then you learn that even if you said the wrong answer, it's not the end of the world, because you're not going to be right all the time. You're going to say wrong answers, but it's not the end of the world. So always try to speak up in class. Take up those things. Take up more opportunities to speak in general. Let's say your college or your school is having an event. Volunteer for hosting, for anchoring. So you get it. The small things. Try to show up. Like show up. Instead of hiding in the shadows, try to show up as much as you can. That would be the first thing. Second thing about the vocabulary thing, I'm not even sure if I'm the best person to tell you about this. But I guess what has helped me would mostly be I watch shows, and I have this thing of where I watch something and I like characters, I will take up something or the other from them. Like if and I think that's the best way you learn, when you watch something and when you try to learn from that. कि कुछ भी series देखी तो there's one thing is just blankly watching it.
Yes.
And the other thing is when you watch it and when you're done with it, you are able to replicate some of the characters or some of the things in your ways. Yes. I don't know if I'm quite explaining this correctly.
Yes.
But
yes.
so yeah, try to expose yourself with that kind of an entertainment. Let's say you want to become a really good maybe you want to become a really good Hindi orator. Then watch those shows and those movies. If you're a movie or show person like me, then this will work on you. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. But this one is basically you watch those things and you try to take up things, little things from the characters. And when you do that, you kind of really remember the thing, because you're somehow attached to that.
Exactly.
Not attached. You kind of understand.
Like,
I'm not doing a very good job explaining this, but I hope you understood where I'm trying to go for.
Yes. I'm getting a connection for that. Means when I watch cricket, I watch generally in English commentary. And because of it naturally sets in my subconscious mind and I'm able to connect. So whenever I play cricket in my society, so I do commentary just for fun because I like it. And I'm naturally able to get those words for commentary which are used. So it definitely
exactly helps. Yeah, because the more you listen to, that's a very good example. That's what I was going for. That's that thing. Yes. So that really helps. It kind of just naturally comes. So try to do the things that you enjoy and try to take up little stuff from that. And for vocabulary, a lot of people even say ki, you can, especially for exams like IELTS and GRE and all of those exams, people say that just read 5 new good words from a dictionary in a day and try to use 2 of them in your us din ka conversation. So people say you should do that. I have not done that, but I know for a fact that it helps a lot of people because a lot of my friends have done that. So you can do that if you're looking to specifically improve your vocabulary.
Definitely. So now let's come to fitness. Like, how do you maintain your fitness levels, and what small modifications can we do in our everyday life, or maybe small modifications in our diet to maintain our fitness levels?
Okay. As far as fitness goes, I'll tell you something. COVID either made people lose a tremendous amount of weight or gain. I love eating. So I've been in the gaining segment of it. And I'll tell you something, huge blow on your confidence when you gain even a little bit of weight. And first thing before I say anything is, I don't think your weight is in any way defining you. And I don't even think your physique defines you. Your health and fitness level has very less to do with that. So, first and foremost, I want anybody watching to know that your body is amazing and it's beautiful, and just don't ever want to just desperately change it, because it's really good. It's amazing the way it is. If we're talking about fitness, it has more to do with your strength, your stamina, and all of those things than it does with the maybe physique or maybe the physical property of weight. No matter how much you want to get carried away in that, that's really not how it works. So coming to the actual health and fitness of how we should live, I think one very important thing that I want to say first and foremost is, I read once, kuch to, I don't even remember which subject I was studying, but I read that Indian diet has 10 gram of salt, and the natural recommended limit is 5 gram.
Right. Yeah.
Average Indian diet has 10 gram, double
Yes.
है.
Yes.
इसलिए बड़े होके पीते होता है. Simple logic. Then I actually searched about why do we have such high salt intakes. Of course junk food तो है, but I love junk food. तो मैं ऐसा नहीं बोलूंगी कि कभी बर्गर पिज्जा मत खाओ, क्योंकि I wouldn't be able to do that. Right? I would say एक चीज, one thing that you can just go home and maybe tell your parents or your cook or whoever is actually cooking, ask them if they put salt in roti का जो आटा होता है. Ask them if they put salt in that, and ask them if they put बस इतना थोड़ा सा पिंच भी कि राइस में डालते हैं और रोटी के आटे में डालते हैं. Like whether or not that happens at your house or wherever you eat, because that is what is a very harmful thing jo, like I think most of India does, because that's how things have been going on na. It's like someone's cooking in the family, the same thing goes to the cook, the same thing goes to the next cook, the same thing goes to whoever is cooking. वो बरसों से चली आती प्रथा है. But I think that is something that needs to change, or this much small change it is, इतना छोटा कि you might not even notice, but it will make a huge difference, long term benefits then. So that is one thing. Definitely salt cut down करने के लिए पहले तो go ask whoever is cooking whether they put salt in roti का आटा and rice. That is not necessary. You can cut that down. That is a very important point. Another point is, if you want to reduce sugar intake, I like sweets. I love sweets, but I do like sweets. So again, I'm not going to say don't eat anything sweet, don't cut off refined sugar, कभी कोकी मत पियो. Possible नहीं है. Simple चीज करते हैं.
Definitely.
सुबह दूध में you put शक्कर, your mother puts शक्कर or you put शक्कर, whoever makes दूध, you put sugar na. The one simple thing that you can do is you can ask your mother or whoever makes the milk for you, to your mother, father, cook, jo bhi, maybe even yourself, don't do it yourself actually, tell someone else to make your milk and taper the sugar little by little. So if initially you have a habit of having 2 chammach sugar, धीरे धीरे make it 1.5, धीरे धीरे, then like keep it 1.5 for 15 days, make it 1. So like that, you won't even realize when you get into the habit of having less sugar in your milk. And milk is something most of us have every day. So that everyday little increments will make a huge difference. So that would again be a very small tip. Another thing is, I think working out, running, moving your body is a very good thing to do. And whoever does not like it is going to roll their eyes right now. But I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference once you actually start doing it. And you know what? It's not just about, like I said, it's not about your weight or body or even, strength and stamina ki bhi baat nahi hai. You start working out a little. You start moving your body a little. Maybe just like a 15-minute walk every day. You do that little by little, you will actually start realizing that it's really good for your mental health and your productivity. मतलब you want to study well, start thoda working out, thoda. Start moving your body a little. It will make all the difference in the world. Like seriously. And pehle 15 दिन it's going to be tough. There's no other way around. It's going to be very tough. You're not going to want to do it, but just start. And after those 15 days, you will see that your productivity has increased. Your mental health will be much better. I don't know if that is making direct sense, but it actually does make a huge difference. They say exercise causes endorphin release. Whoever has actually read anything about exercise knows that this happens, but actually experiencing it is one very different, like alag hi thing. I'll tell you, one of my friends who did not enjoy PE in school, okay, she's my best friend, she has not done any sports in her life up until now. They started working with a trainer, and it's not like they needed, their whole family started it just as a a health thing, that it's good for health to move your body. It's good to have a little bit of strength. कभी घूमने भी जाना है तो सांस नहीं फूलनी चाहिए थोड़े थोड़े में. So for that, their entire family started, and it's been, I want to say, it's been a year since she started, and she's enjoying it more than anything. Never in her life has she done one sports, and she is so good at so many things. Like now she can play sports, now she can run marathons. The person who's never done anything in her life, and you know what, she loves it. She loves it even though she didn't think she would. The point is, बहुत अच्छी चीज है. You need to just start, and I would say start very small. You can start with things like, if you're taking a car or a two-wheeler, park it away from where you have to go. So you'll have to walk more naturally. Try to walk where you can. I know it's very hot at a lot of places in India, including here. It's very hot, which is why we are tempted to go night. So on very hot days, understandable. But in the mornings, it's not that hot, so it's okay. Try to park your vehicle far away. Try to walk wherever you can, and every morning without fail, try to habit stack. Ki utha, brush kiya, and then I'll take a walk. Simple. It can be a walk. I'm saying walk because that's the easiest thing for people to start with. But you can do anything, any small workout, and the internet is full of really good workouts. There is YouTube to help. There are so many apps to help. You can keep accountability. You can find a friend. You know what? You can go on a walk with your friend, maybe every alternate day, something like that. Basically, choti cheezein. Start adding. So start moving your body. It makes a lot of difference. And one last thing, which is again easier said than done. If you love food, you'll be struggling with this. कि खाना खाया, overeating हो जाता है because you love food. Because you love food, तो तुम खाते रहते हो. Before your brain senses that you are full, you've already eaten a lot. So the one thing that you need to start doing is definitely eat more mindfully. Like be more present with your food when you are eating it. Eat a bit slowly, because when you do that, you'll end up not overeating, which will help you actually feel lighter more than anything. Like that heavy meal, after that heavy meal, you don't want to get up. You are like, I'm settled. Ho gaya. Nobody tell me to get up for another hour. So isliye, just try to be more present, mindful with the food. Kha rahe ho, tab at least pay attention to what you're eating and actually eat slower. That will help you understand when you are full, and that will help you that will help you stay lighter.
Yes, conscious more.
It's not just about body weight, looks. No, it's about you will feel much better. You will feel lighter after a light meal. Now you feel much better than you do after a heavy meal. So for everything. So those 4 things I think would be it.
Yeah, so we will definitely try to implement all these things. And one more small question I would like to ask about fitness is that how do you maintain your fitness during exams? Because I have seen, including students, including me, that skipping exercises or whatever they are doing, maybe going to a gym or playing sports, skipping that for about a month or maybe 15 days before the exam is there. And there are a lot of exams, especially in our medical field. So it so happens that only 6 months we have do fitness stuffs, and 6 months we are giving exams. So how do you maintain your fitness levels during exams?
Okay, the first thing is you need to set a non-negotiable lower limit for anything, but especially for this. There's a fixed set. Let's say I've decided I will do 30 minutes of workout. I've decided I'll do 30 minutes. That is pakka. The problem is we set this as a generic limit. When we don't have time for 30 minutes, we'll be like, yeah, there's not enough time, let it go. So you need to set a lower limit, not just a generic normal limit. And that lower limit can be very simple. If you have a lot to study during your exams and you are like, you think ki half an hour is, way too much. Although technically half an hour is never way too much. But if your normal limit is half an hour and you're saying, okay, half an hour is way too much, simple thing, set a lower limit which is non-negotiable, which can be something as simple as 5 to 10 minutes of walking, brisk walking or jogging or whatever. So you can reduce the time, but you have to make sure you actually stick with it. And then on the days when you think hey, it's possible for me to do 30 minutes, do 30 minutes. But don't ever go even one day without doing those 5 to 10 minutes, because 5 to 10 minutes is very easy to find.
Definitely.
You got my point. So we're trying to cultivate any habit, especially let's say working out. You first of all is this. You set a non-negotiable lower limit. मतलब कुछ भी हो जाए रात को सोने से पहले भी, even if I am very sleepy, it's 3 a.m. at night, I said I will work out, which means if I want to start studying at 10 o'clock in the morning and I've slept at 3, I'll get up at 9:50 and do 10 minutes of walking. It's not too much. It's not too much. It is very doable. It's just most of the times we don't want to do it because it's easy to make an excuse rather than actually show up. So just set that non-negotiable, actually achievable lower limit and karo.
Yes. And yes, and also we have currently even discovered that the main problem we face is starting the initial inertia. So maybe by just starting, we will feel more of doing it.
Yes, exactly. It happens now. You don't want to start. You say, "Nay, I have the lower limit of 5 minutes. I'll start for 5 minutes." You'll start feeling good. There's a very good chance that you will actually finish your 30-minute workout. That could very, very well happen. So just set that lower limit and do it. And also, I know it's not that easy, but try not to have unhealthy munching things next to your desk when you're studying. It's really tough to do. I know for a lot of people. I am those movie देखते खाने वाला problem. पढ़ते I can't eat, but a lot of people do. So then try not to do that. At least if you do want to do, set a fixed amount. Take healthier stuff, maybe some dry fruits or something like that if you have to. Try to walk around when you study. That will distract you. Something like that.
Yeah. So we got a lot of insights. And one last question, but not the least, I think, can you give us some more tips about blogging, like for those young writers who want to write and maybe upload it, publish it, or maybe get it to the world, but are hesitating or are not able to get one good write-up. So can you give us some tips about that?
I think blogging is an absolutely amazing thing. It's probably it's a really old industry. It's not new at all. A lot of people think it's saturated, but here's what I think. It doesn't matter how saturated it is. The thing is, it's a really good way to get your content out into the world. It doesn't end at blogging, but blogging is a great place to start. So I think the first step would be, don't second guess yourself. No matter if you think, oh, I only have 2-3 things to say, I promise you put those 2-3 things out, you will find 2-3 things more to say. After you put those out, you will find more things to say. Like, you'll get there. Don't second guess yourself right now at the very beginning. So it's a really good place to start. Don't second guess yourself. Definitely start. Now, in starting, typically it is said you should use WordPress. For me, I'd actually, with the help of one of my friends, I'd actually set up a Wix website. You must have seen the ad somewhere or the other, wixwix.com, right? So I've made my website from that. But here's what I recommend: if you are more into blogging than using the website as other functions, then I'd say go for WordPress. That is probably a much more blogging friendly way to go about it. So you can do that. There are so many courses, so many articles, so many things available on how to use WordPress and how to actually go about it. So you can go ahead, Google that, look for that, but don't be like me. Don't research that for 6 months and not do anything. Research like 5 articles maximum, and then actually take the step. Like, buy the domain name. Buy the domain name, get your domain name, get the website on, start working on it. Like, actually take actions, honestly. Take actions. And in order for your blog to actually be discovered, there's something called SEO, which if you've read anything about it, you'd know, search engine optimization, which is something that we have to do, something that I am obviously learning. I am not very long into this journey, but I am definitely learning a little bit about it. What SEO will do is, you can get discovered through Google. Somebody searching something on Google and they'll get your website as a listing, they'll click on it. So I've noticed, in these months, that they show you insights at every single website builder you use. So then in my insights, I've seen in these few months, I've seen the Google clicks going up, which means SEO is working. So you need to do that. You can use Pinterest. Pinterest is a great way to get traffic onto a blog once you've actually started. And I would say, don't think too much. Don't think too much about what will I write about. I need only one thing to write. There are a lot of people out there who say you need to have a defined one thing to talk about. Maybe you don't know. You can just start with anything, but just take that first step. Start.
So coming to the core principle once again, try to avoid that inertia and then work out of it.
Yes, definitely.
So that's it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any more questions to ask Preya Didi and to me, or if you have any more tips, please comment down in the comment box below. Hope you got some guide for glory. See you guys in the next episode. This is me, Yash Gandhi, signing off. Thank you.